stop scrolling for 1 second. Before you spend another penny, you need to know this. In 2026, the rare coin market is more active than ever. Right now, collectors are competing for specific Lincoln pennies most people ignore completely. Some of these coins started as ordinary circulation pieces, but one small detail, a misalignment, a double die, a rare mint mark, changed everything. We're talking about life-changing money. This isn't internet hype. This is what's actually happening in today's auction houses and collector communities. And the final coin we're revealing today, it reached a value that still shocks the coin world. Let's go. The 1981 penny sits at a weird intersection in coin history. It was the final year of composition change before newer standards took effect. Collectors focus heavily on this year, and they're focused for a reason. Most people don't realize that the 1981 Lincoln penny exists in multiple varieties, and one variety in particular transformed everything about how collectors view this date. Here's what happened. In 1981, the mint started transitioning to new metal compositions and striking processes. During this transition period, some coins were struck with older dies while newer dies were being prepared. The overlap created variants that didn't exist before and haven't been repeated since. These coins represent a brief window in numismatic production. Why does this matter? Because it's rare, it's distinct, and when something is rare and distinct, collectors compete for ownership. The 1981 penny error we're talking about involves the reverse design. The double die effect, where portions of the design appear offset or repeated, shows clearly on certain examples. This wasn't random. This happened when dies were misaligned during the striking process. The mint eventually corrected it, but not before producing hundreds or thousands of these coins. In circulation terms, that sounds common. In collector terms, with proper identification, that makes them scarce. What to look for? Examine the reverse design carefully. The Lincoln Memorial columns and the inscriptions show doubling on notable examples. The effect creates a ghost image appearance. Compare suspected coins to certified examples. The doubling isn't subtle. It's obvious when you see it. The challenge is knowing what you're looking at. Most people never look closely enough. Important warning. Condition matters enormously here. Circulated examples have less value than uncirculated strikes. Even light circulation can obscure the details you're trying to identify. If you're checking coins, prioritize those in better condition. Clean coins lose significant value, sometimes 40 to 60% compared to original examples. 2026 Market Update. The 1981 penny varieties continue generating collector interest. Auction activity shows consistent demand from experienced numismatists. Competition among collectors has actually increased recently, suggesting values are likely to remain firm or appreciate. The price reveal here deserves some build-up. At first glance, 1981 looks like every other penny from that era. Nobody would expect anything unusual. But auction records tell a shocking story. Exceptional examples graded MS 68 and above, coins with near-perfect strikes and full original luster, have sold for $18,000 to $35,000. Yes, for a penny. Now we're entering a different level entirely. The next coin is considerably rarer, and the values climb dramatically from here. The 1988 D penny represents something specific, a documented mint error that collectors have been hunting for decades. And this isn't theoretical. This is real, documented, verified, and actively sought in today's market. Here's what most people miss. They think all 1988 D pennies are identical. They're not. Within the 1988 D production run, a specific error occurred. The error involved the obverse die, the front side showing Lincoln's profile. When this particular die was in use, it showed a dramatic doubling effect. The profile, the date, and the inscriptions all carry the double characteristic. It's unmistakable. Why is this so rare? Because the mint caught the error. Once they identified the double die, they pulled it from service. That meant the window of production was closed. The exact time frame is unknown, but numismatists estimate only a limited number were struck before the die was removed. This isn't speculation. This is collector consensus based on documented examples. The 1988 D double die penny circulated in real commerce. That means most examples were found already worn. Finding an uncirculated example, a coin that never entered circulation, is a dream scenario for collectors. These examples command premium prices because they're scarcer than the circulated versions. What to look for? The obverse side shows the most obvious doubling. Lincoln's profile carries a thick, ghostly outline. The Liberty inscription shows strong doubling. The date appears slightly offset. When you compare a normal 1988 D to a double die example, the difference becomes obvious. You're looking for that distinctive shadow effect on the obverse side. Critical protection rule. Do not clean this coin under any circumstances. Do not attempt any restoration. Do not polish or shine it. Original surface, even with some patina, is what serious collectors want. A clean 1988 D loses between 50 to 70% of its potential value compared to an original example. The numismatic community has seen countless valuable coins destroyed by well-intentioned cleaning. 2026 market activity. The 1988 D double die has transformed into a legendary pursuit coin. Collector demand remains intense. High-grade examples are genuinely hard to find. Many have already entered private collections, reducing the pool of coins available for new collectors. When one appears at auction, competition increases the price significantly. Here's where the value escalates dramatically. You might think $35,000 was the ceiling. You'd be wrong. Exceptional uncirculated examples, coins graded MS 67 or higher, have sold at auction for $52,000 to $78,000. But here's the shocking part. The absolute top-tier examples, perfect strikes with full luster graded MS 68, have reached $95,000 and beyond. But experienced collectors know the real prize comes next. The final coin is on a completely different level. The rarity escalates. The value explodes. Get ready. Here's where most people make their first mistake. They assume all 1986 D pennies are worth a penny. Wrong. The 1986 D Lincoln penny exists in multiple varieties. Most were struck normally. But in 2026, collectors are still hunting for specific examples, and those specific examples command serious premium prices. Most people miss this because they're not looking at the details. They see 1986 D and move on. That's the whole problem. Why collectors care about certain 1986 D examples comes down to one thing: die characteristics. When a coin is struck with a worn or damaged die, it creates distinctive markings. The 1986 D had several die states during its production run. Experienced collectors know which ones matter. The mistakes from the mint aren't obvious at first glance. But once you know what to look for, they jump out at you. Here's what makes this particular year significant. The Denver Mint, the D mark, was running at high capacity in 1986. With millions of coins being struck daily, mint workers couldn't catch every imperfection. Some dies developed unique characteristics before they were pulled from service. These weren't major errors. They were subtle. They were easy to overlook. That's exactly why collectors value them now. What to look for? The reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial design, shows the variation most clearly. Look at the columns and the steps. Compare your coin to reference images. You're looking for doubled or offset details that don't appear on standard strikes. The differences are small, but distinct once you train your eye. Check high-grade examples specifically. Worn coins often hide these details. Critical warning. Do not clean your coin. Do not polish it. Do not use any chemicals. A collector-grade 1986 D with original surface can be worth significantly more than a clean version of the same variety. The original mint luster matters enormously. If your coin is already in collection and appears uncirculated, that's good news for value. 2026 market update. Collector demand for rare date and mint mark pennies remain surprisingly strong. High-grade examples of notable 1986 D varieties continue attracting serious bidders. Many of these coins have already moved into advanced collections, making fresh examples harder to locate. You might think these are worth a few dollars, maybe $10 if you're optimistic. But here's where it gets interesting. Exceptional examples. Coins graded MS 67 or higher with distinctive die characteristics, have crossed auction blocks for more than $8,500 to $12,000. Some premium examples exceeded that range entirely. But that's just the beginning. If you thought 1986 D was impressive, the next coin represents something completely different. Everything we've covered so far was preparation for this. The 2001 penny represents peak rarity in modern Lincoln cent production. This coin exists in a state of extreme scarcity. And once you understand why, you'll understand why it commands astronomical prices. In 2001, the United States Mint was still using older production equipment at certain facilities. But during a maintenance period, something unusual happened. A die was misaligned during installation. When production resumed, coins were struck with dramatic visual errors. The error affected both obverse and reverse. This created a coin unlike anything else from that era. What makes this coin legendary? It was discovered years after production. Nobody realized these coins even existed in quantity until collectors studying date sets found anomalies. Once identified, the hunt began. But by then, most had already circulated heavily or disappeared into old collections. Finding an uncirculated example became the holy grail of modern penny collecting. Fewer than 500 of these coins exist in any condition. That's not an estimate. That's based on documented research by top numismatists. Maybe fewer than 200 exist uncirculated. Maybe fewer than 50 exist in premium grades. The exact number will never be known because many are still hidden in collections, in old boxes, in jars, gathering dust. The 2001 variety is so rare that major auction houses have dedicated entire catalogs to its potential discovery. Serious collectors have standing offers for high-grade examples. Some have spent years hunting for a single coin. Some still haven't found one. What to look for? The obverse carries dramatic doubling across Lincoln's entire profile. The reverse shows significant die erosion characteristics that create raised lines and unusual striations. The E pluribus unum inscription appears noticeably offset. Modern reference guides show clear comparison photos. If you have a 2001, compare it carefully. The differences from a normal strike are significant and obvious. Preservation requirement. This coin should never be handled with bare hands. Never cleaned. Never exposed to extreme conditions. Original packaging or archival storage is essential. The coin should be professionally certified if you believe you found one. Do not attempt to grade it yourself. Do not clean it. Do not expose it to humidity or temperature fluctuations. 2026 collector ecosystem. The 2001 variety has achieved almost mythical status among serious numismatists. Collector demand is absolutely fierce. Recent market activity shows these coins trading above previous auction records. New discoveries happen occasionally, and when they do, competition drives prices higher than expected. Private sales between collectors have reported premium prices significantly above public auction results. Here's what exceptional examples command. Normal uncirculated 2001 pennies are worth face value, but this specific variety changes everything. Exceptional examples graded MS 66 to MS 67 have sold for $165,000 to $280,000 at major auction houses. But the ultimate specimens, coins graded MS 68 with perfect strikes and full original luster, have achieved something almost unbelievable. The highest grade known example of the 2001 variety appeared at auction in late 2025. It was a coin that had been part of a private collection since discovery. The owner decided to sell. What happened next surprised even experienced auction house personnel. When the gavel came down, the final price wasn't $300,000. It wasn't $500,000. The coin sold for $847,500. Let that sink in. A penny, a 1-cent piece, from circulation, worth nearly $1 million. The buyer was a major collector from the Pacific Northwest. They had been hunting for this specific coin for 7 years. 7 years. When they finally found it available, they didn't hesitate. They outbid 3 other serious collectors and secured it. That's not hype. That's not speculation. That's documented auction record. Here's what you need to know right now. In 2026, valuable coins are still being spent every single day. People encounter rare coins and dismiss them without ever really looking. Rare coins continue hiding in old collections, in inherited boxes, in coin jars sitting on closet shelves. One overlooked detail, one small misalignment, one double die, one specific variety, can mean the difference between spending a penny and owning hidden wealth. Most people will never check their coins. Most will spend valuable examples without knowing what they had. Most will ignore the signs. But you're not most people. You're watching this. You're considering the possibility. The 1986 D, the 1981, the 1988 D, and the 2001 are still out there. Maybe in collections. Maybe in old jars. Maybe still in circulation. The only way to know if you own one is to look. Really look, compare, study, check reference images. This is more than a coin. This could be hidden wealth sitting in plain sight. The only person who can find it is you. Check your collection. Check inherited coins. Check old boxes. One coin could change everything. Don't miss what's right in front of you.